What's going on, people? It's your boy, Loy Lee, and welcome to another episode of the Short, Pale, and Handsome podcast. Today is April 30th in the year of our Lord 2019. How's your ma? Tell her I said hi, yeah? Okay, great. Great weekend, people. A lot of things could have gone wrong. A lot of things did go wrong, but we came out victorious. It was amazing. Great way to close out April. I took some, bumps, took some bruises professionally, and came out on top. I'm still smiling. So I hope I can bring all of this same energy directly into May. Try to keep this energy all the way up through May, June, and July. I'm in Southeast Asia. Go back to the homeland. Not my homeland, my wife's homeland. Going to the Philippines. We might try to stop by Hong Kong, but I'm just going to have to literally show her that I don't speak Chinese at all, not even a little bit, and prove it to her. What is this program about? This program today has been brought to you by, unofficially, Barkada Clothing, which I got to meet and hang out with them this weekend, which we'll get into. But unofficially, I wanted to shout them out because they're great people. And Barkada is Filipino for your group of friends. Ride or die. So they gave me this t-shirt that I wore on stage this weekend, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So shout out to Barkada Clothing. Shout out to the Filipinos. Shout out to Jeff and Iris that run Barkada Clothing. Shout out to your friends, your group of friends, your Barkada. And if you have friends, you should probably buy them a shirt. Rarely do I wear shirts that are not my shirts. So this actually, to me, is the biggest shout out that I could do. This was the biggest thing that I could give them a virtual high five and say, thank you very much for being you. You know, thank you very much for everything that you guys do. So shout out to Barkada Clothing. It's also brought to you by my Patreon account. If you feel the need that you want to go, I like this podcast so much. I wish there was something that I could do, but I just don't want to give him money. Because if you're Asian, like I'm Asian, it's always weird to not only give somebody money. It's like something we want to do. Just want to give somebody money. But it's also weird for them to like just take money, right? Unless it's like Chinese New Year and you're putting money in a red envelope, it's hard to just take cash, right? It's just weird to me. So if you're like, hey, I want to support the podcast, I want to give Loy some money, I want to give him a ducat or two, you know, I got some spare change lying around, check out my Patreon account, patreon.com/loyleecomedy. That is how you can donate. It's monthly, so there's a couple different tiers, and I got a couple different things for you. If you can only say, hey, I only want to give you like $12 throughout the year, that's fine. That's $1 a month. That helps me keep all of these lights on, and it keeps me helping you get through your day, hopefully, maybe. You know, there's different tiers, $1, $5, $10 a month, and there's different little things. I got giveaways. I got stuffs. I got stuffs for you, and that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to reach out and give stuff back. So it's like I wish I got $12. I got $60 I want to give you, but I want it to not be awkward. So when I take your money, I want to give something back to you. So see how that works? It's the Asian in me. So yeah, check out my Patreon account. That is up. I've been talking about it forever, but I finally did it. So that's exciting. Go check it out. Even if you're like, I don't even know what this is, go look at it. It makes me feel good when I see people have clicked the website and go, oh, that makes a difference. So that's all of the sponsors, as well as loyleecomedy.com/store. There's a couple t-shirts. I'm going to switch out a shirt. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I'm going to switch out one of the shirts, maybe two, who knows, for new ones. So get it while the getting is good. Okay. How was your weekend? Interesting. I'm glad to hear that you had a good weekend. So this weekend it could have been really rough. I am going to tell you this. The moral to this podcast today, this episode is double check. Double check your work, double check your agreements, double check everything. It doesn't hurt to double check. So originally, like you had heard last podcast, I was featuring for Jared Guzman at the DC Comedy Loft. Well, there was a little bit of a mix-up, and I could have been mad. I was a little, I did everything I could to not be mad. I did everything I could to just deal with it. So the DC Comedy Loft and JR had a misunderstanding, a miscommunication somewhere. I'm not blaming. It doesn't matter. It's just here is a situation. They booked me to have a feature set on 4 nights. So we had 4 shows, 4 sets, 4 feature sets, which is good, because it's always good to be able to get out of the hosting role and into your feature role. It's always good to be able to do different things, right? So, and if you're not familiar, the way most comedy shows are set up, it's a 3-man show. It's a host. He does about 10 minutes up front, but the host, he ends up, getting everyone facing in the right direction. He gets everybody prepared for the jokes. He talks about the announcements, and then he does maybe 5-6 minutes of jokes. That's sort of what it is. He introduced the host or introduced the feature or the guest spot, and then he comes back on after and introduces the next person, the feature or the headliner, and he comes back and introduces the headliner, and then close out the show. Good night, guys. Right? That was really convoluted. The host comes out, introduces people, and then closes out the show, telling everyone good night. Real simple. I was looking forward to doing a feature set where I don't have to do anything, just go in. I could tell my jokes. I don't have to worry about really shouting anybody out. I don't really have to worry about anything. Just go in and do your job, right? Just go in, make them laugh. That's it. And, it didn't work out that way. So there was a miscommunication, and JR brought his own feature, so they put me as host. It was originally supposed to be Christian Escoto hosting, and then I would be featuring, and then Jared Guzman headlining. But it ended up being I hosted, Christian Escoto guest spotted, so he did about 5 minutes. Diego Curiel came in, did 25 minutes, and Jared Guzman closed out the show. And that was, you I didn't take it personal, but you kind of go, I really wanted to... I really wanted to feature. Not only is it something that I want to do, but on top of that, the money situation's different. You get paid more money to feature, right? The more jokes, the more time you do, in theory, the more time that you are scheduled to do, the more money you make, right? Real simple. Real simple economics. So the Comedy Loft was gracious and they go, you know what? That's our bad. We'll take care of you. Doesn't matter. You'll host, and we'll still pay you your agreed upon price. We'll still pay you your feature spot, which is great. No problem. The Friday show, great show. Saturday show, great show. Friday night, early show, great. Second show on Friday, great. Shout out to SNRG, the rap group from this area, local fellow Asian rap group. They showed up, showed some love, and I got to meet them. I went to their release party, but I didn't get in. It was sold out, it was pumping, and I was really looking forward to meeting them there, but I was glad that I actually got a chance to meet them this weekend. And they're great people, super humble, always working, always on the grind, and there's a lot of things that I can learn from them. So I was very excited to meet them. They were in the building, and Barcata Clothing, like I was telling you, they were in the building, and Jeff and Iris are amazing people. They business savvy, great to hang out with them. They gave us t-shirts to wear so we could support their cause. And I don't normally wear other people's stuff. I usually wear my own shirts, and that's important to me because it's me, right? But being able to show them support and just reward them for being great people, that's really what the love that I'm feeling right now. And what I like about them is they had great designs. And they had inventory. They brought inventory. They had a nice setup. Definitely professional. And the shirts that they wear are the shirts that they sell are printed on exactly the same shirts that I print my shirts on. So obviously I was like, oh, you find value in quality. You find value in the user end experience. I have to love you for that. Because a lot of t-shirt companies, they just go, here's a t-shirt, profit margin, right? Why would I buy a $12 shirt and sell it for $25 when I can get a $4 shirt and sell it for $25? Because the user end, it's horrible. Like, those $4 shirts are they don't last long. They're not comfortable. They're not fitted right. They're just a horrible experience. So the fact that they use the same shirts that I use, which is Canvas Bella, it comes in a ton of colors, and they're soft, they fit well, they feel good, and they last long. So shout out to Barcata Clothing. Check them out. They are on my Instagram, and I was really, really happy to hang out with them. So Saturday comes along. Saturday, they forgot to tell me that they had to move the show up to 7 o'clock. So I'm always early. I'm always an hour to 45 minutes early. 45 minutes to an hour early every show. So I'm driving. It's like 7 o'clock. I'm like 5-6 minutes away. And they hit me up and like, hey, are you going to make it? And I was like, am I going to make it? I got 45 minutes. Relax. Like, no, the show starts at 7. I didn't tell you? I was like, no, you didn't tell me. What happened was a male review show got double booked, and they got bounced into the cellar, so where we were. So we're supposed to have 2 shows, but ended up being a comedy show, a male review show, and a second comedy show. And so they had to move things around. And you go, well, I just lost out on a set because I wasn't there. And that just shows that I need to be there an hour early regardless. That's what I learned, right? And I could have been upset. And then, again, the Comedy Loft was like, you know what? Our bad. James said, I told everyone except for you, we'll let you keep your pay. That's fine. And, at the end of the day, it's like you can't even be mad. As long as they pay you what you agreed upon, I think that there's things that you just have to smile and go, it could be worse. They could have docked my pay. They could have really messed with me, and they didn't. So shout out to James at the DC Comedy Loft, and I was happy to be part of this weekend. So I missed out on the early show on Saturday, and then the male review. Here's the issue. It's like, if you're not familiar with what a male review is, it's basically men strippers dancing for women, right? And it's tight quarters. They're walking around and they're covering everything but their dicks. And they're just wearing socks, glittery socks on their dicks. And this shit was awkward. And, and what happened was they were supposed to get on stage, and it was supposed to be, 8 o'clock to 8 to 10 o'clock, I think. 8 to 10, 8:30 to 10, something like that. Which pushed our second show back 15, 20 minutes. No problem. Our show was supposed to start at 9:45, and then with the new time, it ended up being 10:15. So that's a half hour. No big deal. 10:15 rolls around, and they are still bumping. They're still at the height, and the crowd's going crazy. You could hear it through the walls. And they were like, the guy running was like, yeah, I'll give you like 10, 15 minutes. Maybe we'll be done in about 15 minutes. Here's a lesson. When somebody says, yeah, we'll be done in about 15 minutes, they're not going to be done in 15 minutes. They're going to be done whenever the fuck they want to be done. Like, that's what it comes down to. So 10:30 rolls around, you're like, 10, 15 minutes. 10:45, 10, 15 minutes. 11 o'clock, they finally get out of the room at 11 o'clock. We start our show at 11:15, and it was great. Like, the energy that they left in the room, even though the crowd is different, there's an energy absorbed into the bricks, into the wood, that's just captured. And there was an energy that they left the people waiting to get in. They left them high energy, and it was great. The room was on fire. Young Filipino professionals were there. Filipino young professionals, were in the building. Rodney Salinas was in the building. Barcata Clothing. I mean, listen, I always have a great time with the Filipino young professionals. They're young, they're hungry, they're scrappy, and they have a great time. They just want to go out. Let's go drink. Let's go mingle. Let's go have a great time. Rodney Salinas, he's a friend of mine. He always, listen, it's always shenanigans every time I hang out with him. And shenanigans, sometimes good. Yeah, sometimes a little questionable, but for the most part, it was great to be around family. It was great to be around Barkada, you know? They just want to have a good time, and that's what I needed. You know, I could have had a horrible weekend. I lost my feature spots. I could have lost my feature money. I could have lost a show, like a whole show worth of money. You know, I could have been down in the dumps, but I was around the people that support me. So that was great. I really enjoyed it. We ended up on Friday night, we ended up at some place called Big Wong's Chinese restaurant that's open 24 hours a day. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and we're eating. We're eating all of my favorites. Salt and pepper pork. We're eating walnut shrimp. We're eating dao mu, which is like pea pod stem. It was like, I could have sworn I was back home in Boston, and I could have sworn we were just at Chow Chow City or the Peach Farm. I could have sworn we had just gotten out of whatever the frick the clubs were back then. The Roxy, Aria, the Matrix, Capri, Rumors, Vapors. We could have been any of that. That's how nostalgic I felt. And if you recognize any of those clubs, we probably know each other personally. So it was a good weekend to be around people. Like I said, it's always good to ask and verify. Like, I asked to make sure ahead of time. So when luckily that I asked about the feature spot, like, hey, everything good? We good? Question mark. And this was earlier in the day, and James hit me with the information, which is great because I had time to process it. Because I asked early. I don't know how well I would have handled it if I found out when I got there. Like, I probably would have thrown a fit like a child and just threw a tantrum. And having time to process it and still do comedy, you know, it makes me look good. It makes the venue look good. I didn't sever any relationships, so I asked ahead of time to make sure. And then on Monday, I was supposed to be on later on today, I was supposed to go up to Harlem or Manhattan at Harlem nightclub. Harlem club bar, Harlem bar. We're gonna call it Harlem bar. I was supposed to do a spot. Somebody reached out to me on Instagram, was like, hey, you want to do this? I'm a flyer, blah, 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 blah. And then I hit him up at like 10 a.m. today. He was like, hey, what's good? We still on? And I verified the amount that he said he was going to pay me. This was like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. He didn't hit me back until just now and was like, hey, I don't know. Let me double check. And I'm like, listen, you know I'm in D.C. We've had this conversation. I'm in D.C. It's going to take me at least 4 hours. If I don't hear back by 3, I'm canceling. Because after 3, then there's no way that I can ensure that I'm going to get there on time. 4 hours before traffic, I got to fight out of D.C. I got to fight into Baltimore. I got to fight out of Baltimore. I got to fight into Philly. I got to fight out of Philly. I got to fight into New York. If I was planning on literally leaving at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I was planning on leaving at 12 o'clock. Miss all the traffic, be there on time, get some food. But he was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So, and I knew it. Like 3 o'clock, after 3 o'clock, I'm not going. I'm not going to try to go up to New York. That's a death sentence. So ask and verify. Because if I got up there and he told me around like Philly, or if I was already in New York's not cheap to get to. Forget the gas. It's going to cost you like $50 in tolls to get from D.C. to New York. It's going to be $50. It's going to be like another $50 to get back. It's like $100 round trip. I'm lying. I'm exaggerating. I think it's like 40 one way and then like 30 the other way. So it's like $70 round trip, something like that. I would have been pissed. Not get paid, drive all that way, waste all my time, waste all my gas, and not even get a set in and not get paid. That would have bothered me. So I verified, and that's the moral of the story today. Verify. You know? What else? What else did I have to talk about? Oh, people want to talk about Endgame. Want to talk about Avengers. I haven't seen it. You're like, why didn't you see it? It's because, listen, it's my wife's birthday, and she wanted to go to the amusement park. And we went on Sunday. We went yesterday. And we went when everybody else was watching Endgame. Endgame took in like $1.6 billion at the close of Saturday before Sunday opened. We knew we were going to go to the amusement park. We went to King's Dominion, which is like an hour and a half south of here. Nobody there. Like, it was me, her, and like 50 other people, I swear to God. We didn't wait in line for anything. The longest line we waited in was like maybe 15 minutes. It felt like Thanos had made the snap and half the population disappeared. We literally went on like all of the rides. All the rides that didn't spin in a circle, we went on without any issues. We were there for like 4 hours. We ate, we hung out, we did the rides. We literally did all the rides. And we went home. Like, King's Dominion was pretty dope. If you're not familiar, it's kind of like Knott's Berry Farm. It's not a Six Flags or nothing, but it was fun. I would prefer Hershey's Park, Hershey's amusement park, but Hershey's is 3 hours away versus an hour and a half. The prices were basically the same. King's Dominion, it had a ride called the Intimidator, which was a shout out to Dale Earnhardt. And that was the first time I thought I was ever going to black out. This shit was like, now I enjoy all the rides. I enjoy the rides that go in a circle, that loop around, that go up, that go down, all of that. But the one thing that gets me every single time is when it goes all the way up, and then when it comes down, it like makes you feel like you're gonna fall out. Like, not upside down. I could deal with upside down. That's fine. It's the going down, and it feels like it's going under just a little bit, and you're gonna fall out. That's the part that got me. It was going so fast, and something like I could just feel all of my vision turning white. I could just feel it like closing, and I was having a hard time focusing, and everything was going white. Luckily, it got to the point, like, obviously, that they've done the math, and they like, oh, if we can get them to almost pass out here, and then we kind of even it out, take it easy on them from there, they'll be fine. Because that's exactly what happened. The second I was like, oh, I am going to black out, or in this case, I'm going to white out, it was like, oh, no, you're okay. Here you go. You're okay. Hey, my wife's home. Hi. Yeah, you can tell this is getting late in the day, huh? I'm supposed to hang out with my wife. How much more time I got left? Hold on. Please hold. Password. And that's not the right... Oh, there it is. 24 minutes. Dope. King's Dominion was great. And just for some context, they don't have Mickey and Minnie. They had, like, Snoopy. And I think that was... Babe, they only had Snoopy? Did they have any other characters? No, I didn't see any characters either. It was Snoopy. Snoopy and Woodstock, and then they just had pictures of Charlie Brown. It was predominantly Snoopy. Yes. She concurs, so you know it's legit. But yeah, there's a bunch of great rides. What else? The Intimidator was dope, and they had the Defender. I think that's what it was called, the Defender. Anaconda. No, the Anaconda was dope. She liked it way more than I did. I was like, I mean, it's cool. It was a ride. They had one called Twisted Timbers, and you had to go through a metal detector, and you had to you got basically strip searched. They made sure that you put your phone and everything in like a zip pouch underneath the seat, and there was, when you sit, there was something between your legs to keep you in, and then the thing that closed covered the shins, and then your lap, and then they buckled you in, and this shit was so dope. So dope. It was fast, and it was furious. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. The Intimidator was dope, and Twisted Timbers was dope. What else? What else was there? There was one that was called, I think it was called the Defender, where you sit in a thing, with your legs dangling, and then they kick the floor out from underneath you, so your legs are just dangling. There's loop-de-loops and upside downs, and that was fun. And there was no line. That is the one closest to the door, and that was the one that we went on last. And I was afraid. I was afraid that there was going to be like a 45-minute wait. My wife was like, no, I really want to go on there. I was like, fuck. Okay, here we go. It's right by the door. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock at night. But literally, we walked in. We could have literally stayed on and ridden it like 2 or 3 times without an issue, but we didn't. Once is enough. But yeah, overall it was great. We went home and we were able to catch Game of Thrones. I was freaking excited because Game of Thrones was supposed to be the longest battle sequence in the history of TV. And all of TV, this was going to be the longest. And I think that they beat their own record because the Battle of the Bastards was supposed to be pretty long. And then this one is even longer. And if you watch it, spoiler alerts, there's like 17 lines in the whole movie. Oh, sorry, in the whole movie. In the whole episode, the whole hour and a half, there was like 7 lines. That's about it. Like the script was 1 page. Like they fight, he fights, he says this, they say this, and then the end. And it was the thing that bothered me, which a lot of people were complaining about it online because I thought it was just me, was everything was just like so dark. Everything was so dark, and we had to literally bump up all of the contrast or lower the contrast and bump the brightness and all of this so we could see it. We got halfway through it. We're like, oh, no, this is not even halfway through. I got like 5 minutes in and go, fuck it. I literally jumped up all the gamma like I was playing Doom back in the day so you could see stuff. The thing that bothered me the most, and I'm going to get on my woke, I'm going to put my woke hat on right now. It was like the Dothraki, which were based off of the Mongolians, which looked Arabic. They were out like first 7 seconds. They were supposed to be so badass. 7 seconds. And they didn't even like show it. They just showed the lights go out. I was like, motherfucker, what? You didn't even give them a good, honorable death, and they were all about war. They were all supposed to be like the best ever, and you didn't even give them, like, you did them dirty, bro. You did them way dirty. And then the Unsullied was supposed to protect all the white people retreating. Get the fuck out of here. Literally, Westeros. Like Game of Thrones was like trying to make Westeros great again. Just get all the minorities out of the way. Let's just get them all killed. But it was a dope episode, though. If you didn't watch it, that's the last spoiler. I got theories, bro. I got theories. You can hit me up online. I'll give you those theories. What else? That's it. That's it. That's 30 minutes. I don't know what the fuck I rambled about today, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I missed you. Shout out to Barcata Clothing. Shout out to Roddy Salinas. He's going to start doing more comedy shows out here in the DC area for the Filipino community, and I'm pumped because he's part of my Barcata. I don't even know if I'm using that right, but you know what I'm saying. Thank you very much for listening. 30 minutes. That's it. It was a real easy. You guys are making it easy, and I love you guys. I really, really do. Check out my Patreon account. If you can, donate. It would be great. I would appreciate it. But also, I want to give back. Like, this is my way of getting your email address and your address so I can send you some stuff through my travels. Just little things. Let you know that I'm thinking about you. Because if it wasn't for you, I would be here, but just way more miserable. So thank you very much for listening. Please rate this where you find this. Shoot me an email, shortpalehandsome@gmail.com, shortpalehandsome.com, loyleecomedy.com. We're all over the place, bro. I got more stuff. If you want, check out Barcada Clothing. Check out my store, loyleecomedy.com/store. I know I'm throwing a lot of shit at you guys, but there's also a video portion of these podcasts on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, there's an audio-only portion. So you in your car driving to work, you could definitely listen to this. Or if you're at your desk and you want to see my smiling face, that's always an option. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. Keep the love flowing. Always trust after you verify. Always ask the right questions. I love you guys. I do. Good night.